What is going on, everybody? We are back, and today we have a special video for you guys. We have the new Edge PS5 Controller. Now let's talk exactly about what the Edge PS5 Controller is. This is a new controller that's come out. It costed me $260 before tax Canadian dollars. It is an extremely expensive controller. And what does it come with, and what does it do, and how can it help us in our game? First off, I'm just going to try and get you guys a little angle of what it looks like. You can see it's got the black down the middle, and now on the back of it, it's going to be hard to see in the camera, but you can access paddles here. You also have these add-ons here. You probably won't be able to see them just under the controller, and this is what pulls up your menus. So if you see now, I have a preload set out, so we have hitting and a pitching preload. So let's take a look at exactly what these do. So when I pull up the menu here, I have a hitting setup and a pitching setup. Why do I need both? Well, if we are going to be hitting, you can see here's the screen. I'm going to go screen to screen so you guys can see everything, so you guys can understand what exactly this controller does. So customized button assignments, very simple. Changing anything in MLB really doesn't do much. It's not like it gives you any advantage. So keeping your button layouts the same is going to be just your most consistent and easy thing to do. Stick sensitivity and dead zone. This is where you're going to spend most of your time editing and changing settings. Trigger dead zone, don't really need this, right? And vibrations, I mean, we don't really need those either. So let's talk about stick sensitivity and dead zone. So first off, we're gonna start off with the left stick while hitting. For me, when I'd use this controller, I'd gone with default, but look at all the different sensitivity options. So I'm gonna show you guys some of these in game. So we have default, which is regular. We all know default. We play on it with the regular controller. Let's talk about quick. Quick is one that Kreiner had originally recommended to me. So if we go into game, we select our hitting loadout. This thing moves so fast around the zone. I hope you guys can see how fast this PCI moves around the zone. It is crazy, and it is so difficult to control, okay? I'm going to go quickly through some of these. So let's go from quick. We're going to go to precise. Precise, quite opposite of quick. You can see around the middle, I'm pulling pretty hard, and it is stopping me, which in hindsight seems like a good idea for MLB, but a lot of it has to do with quick movements. So when you're getting restrained in the middle of the zone like that, it actually makes it a lot tougher. It really slows you down. Kind of feels like you're stuck in mud a little bit around the middle of the zone like this. Let's take another look at another one. We have steady. Steady actually intrigued me off rip, but unfortunately, it just felt a little sticky and slow to me. It gets a little bit of weird drift, like around here. You can see, like, it's a really weird part of the zone to try and cover. So for me, steady didn't work for me. Let's take another look. Digital is literally like you touch it and it flies. So this is complete, like, look at this. I'm just like flicking at it and it's going all the way to the bottom of the zone. Never ever would you ever use this in any circumstance. There is no way you can control your PCI. And finally, the last option is dynamic. So register input is limited when you tilt the stick slightly or far, but accelerated in the middle range. So this is kind of a weird one, but still, like, all around the middle, like, you just kind of like pull on your stick a little bit, it flies. Where if you pull, it's less sensitive. It's kind of a weird one. So the only other one I could see you possibly wanting to use is quick. It's either quick or default. For me, when I had used it, quick had just made me slam my PCI like a nut job. So for me, I ended up back with default. Let's talk about curve adjustment and exactly what this does. So curve adjustment has to do with the way the sensitivity, I believe, behaves. And dead zone, as you guys know, I'm sure you've known if you played a bunch of games, dead zone is how sensitive the stick is. So you can see, if you look closely here, see that circle? Okay, so if I put my dead zone at 30, the stick doesn't register if I'm pushing this hard. You can see there's something in the middle here. This is me moving my stick around. The stick doesn't register until I get to about there. So for me, I start my PCI like this. So it wouldn't even register me moving my PCI up if I had it at 30. If you move it all the way down to 0, it is the complete opposite. You nudge that stick and it is registering right away. Sometimes 0 can cause stick drift. Because it's picking up essentially even movement over top of your stick that may not even be affecting it. So if you guys need some settings, I'm going to show you guys some here. Personally, I thought default was the best, and the dead zone sitting around 10% was the best area to have it, which is, I believe, the default settings as is. So it's actually not really changing anything, as opposed to quick and 13 was another one with curve adjustment, I believe, on +1. This is the settings Kreiner gave me. So this is another option for you. Now let's talk about another part of this controller, because it can't just have sensitivity. So like I said, it comes with paddles, things like that. Paddles and any add-ons to the controller do not give you any advantage. I just totally butchered English. Do not give you any advantage really in MLB The Show. Pressing buttons faster, you know, it's not like it's a shoot around game. So personally, I think none of the add-ons for it are really worth it. One thing that really intrigued me to get this controller in the end was supposed to be reduced input delay. Now let's talk about this for a second, because I used this controller for about 4 or 5 ranked games on stream. We used them for 2 different days, plus I played a bunch of games offline. I noticed 0 input delay changes. I went back to the regular controller, all my timing was normal, nothing was different. So for me, this controller really didn't work out for me. I am going to return it because it is a shit ton of money, and it's something that I just don't feel is something I need. I can play just fine on the regular controller. However, my input is not the only thing that matters in this world. If you're watching this video and you're like, man, this input delay really bothers me, I would love to turn on my sensitivity, I'd love to mess around with a bunch of these settings. If you have the money for it and you want to try it, I'm not saying don't go get it. I am saying personally, for me, somebody who plays on Legend, somebody who plays on a 1 millisecond response time monitor already, this is not for me. This is not where I can best use my money. This did not affect my gameplay. In fact, it kind of made me worse, because I was messing around with all these settings, and at the end of the day, it was just totally confusing my brain. I couldn't control anything. So, this controller is a tough one, because for the price, I can't justify it. Even if there is better response time, even if you notice better response time, for essentially half of a PS5's price, at the very least a third, it is so much for a controller. One of the cool things that the controller does bring you, though, is sticks that you can swap in and out. So this is going to hopefully at least help with stick drift, which is a big issue in a lot of PS controllers. So for me to be able to use this controller and just use the default settings really feels really unnecessary for me. And like I said, for the price tag, that just doesn't seem like the best purchase for myself personally. However, you're going to see other people using controllers like this, and they're going to be trying them out. So don't take my word as the only word for it. But if you're considering it, think about how much value this controller can actually bring you in-game. Considering sensitivity in MLB is something that we don't really need, because you have that perfect balance already of how you know when to slam and when not to slam. So turning the sensitivity up may cause you to slam, but maybe it helps you get under the ball more. I don't know. There is people who use quick sensitivity, so I mean, I am not the only person... I am not the person maybe who likes to rock it, but Kreiner was someone who used it, CC was somebody who used it. So I just want you guys to think about, is this the right purchase for me? Of course, you can always return it. That is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna return back to my regular controller. So for the Edge controller is just not for me. If you guys enjoyed this video, I hope this has helped you out. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll be sure to answer. And next video, boy oh boy, you guys are gonna want to stay tuned for next video, because we're gonna have a new series starting out. I think you guys are really gonna enjoy it. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, make sure to drop a like for me, and without further ado, I'm out. Peace.